On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, Bitcoin Cash is starting to get some momentum now and mines the first ever 4.6 megabyte block of Bitcoin transactions, and we could be looking at a second split depending on whether Segwit2x miners stick to their agreement. All of that coming up on today's episode of the Cryptoverse, so stay tuned. Hi there guys, welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I am your host, Chris Coney, the founder of Cryptoversity, the online school where you can learn about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. Find out more at cryptoversity.com. So you've tuned into the news and commentary show of the Cryptoverse. So let's begin with a Bitcoin network update. Let's begin with the main Bitcoin network. So let's go over to Coindance, the lovely source of blockchain-based data for Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash as well now. So here's where we are at. We have mined 1,037 Segwit blocks in the current activation period. That leaves us with just 879 to go before Segwit officially locks in. And that means that's due to happen on Tuesday, the 8th of August. Now that people on both sides of the Bitcoin scaling argument have their own projects, there should be no more obstacles in the way for Segwit to activate. There may be another dispute coming up though in November regarding the Segwit2x bit, but I'll talk about that later in the video. For now though, let's go talk about Bitcoin Cash and how it is starting to gather a bit of a rhythm. So we have to switch to the alternative view of Coindance for this. So here's the Bitcoin Cash version of Coindance. Now Bitcoin Cash, it was really struggling yesterday, and it was struggling under the weight of the mining difficulty that it inherited from Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin Cash developers did anticipate this, and they built in a technical mechanism to quickly adjust the mining difficulty if this situation were to arise where there was a very high difficulty and not enough mining power. And that's exactly what happened when Bitcoin Cash launched. So it looks to me as though this feature has activated because, looking at Coindance, it says here the mining difficulty has been reduced to just 1/4 of the original difficulty. And that has translated into a more realistic block time, which we can see further down on Coindance. If we go down to the actual block details, there's a column here called age, and it shows the age of the blocks, or how long ago they were mined. Now yesterday, hours were going by with no new blocks being mined on the Bitcoin Cash network, and thus no transactions were getting confirmations. Now though, blocks are down to a more realistic 30 minutes to an hour, and no doubt that will get faster as things settle down, mining difficulty adjusts and so on. But it's not just the mining difficulty. The other factor that is contributing here is that you'll notice further up when we look at the pie chart is that Bitcoin.com are now one of the mining pools appearing as being working on the Bitcoin Cash chain. So this is additional mining power coming to support Bitcoin Cash, and no doubt that community is going to welcome the extra mining power. Now on the very topic of mining on the Bitcoin Cash network, let me show you something. Actually, I'll show you the inside of my Bitcoin.com cloud mining account. So here it is. This is the cloud mining dashboard, right? There's a new option appeared right there. You can see it, where you can switch your miners to point towards the Bitcoin Cash chain. So there's the option right here. You can choose as a cloud miner to mine on Bitcoin Cash if you wish. Now, there's another interesting thing here. If I wave over this option, a big red warning comes up. It says, warning, BCC mining is not profitable due to high difficulty and low price. We recommend mining BTC for now. Now, I don't think that is propaganda, because Bitcoin.com, as far as I'm aware, are heavily in support of bigger blocks. So if they're not manipulating their position in that regard, they are putting that message there as a genuine warning to the profitability of the mining. But you can go ahead and do it anyway if you want to. So that's that. I personally am going to continue to mine Bitcoin, but I want to show you that option is there. I have also read that other cloud mining companies are going to introduce this feature to switch your mining power to Bitcoin Cash if you wish. So look out for emails if you have cloud mining contracts with Hashing24 or Genesis or any of those other cloud mining companies to see if they're going to give you that option or not, and when and how to do it. You know, another interesting thing happened yesterday. The first 4.6 megabyte block of Bitcoin transactions was mined on the Bitcoin Cash chain. Now, we can see this on the CoinDance, actually. Let's go to it. If we go back to CoinDance, scroll down, right there. It's 16 hours old, that block now. This block could have been because a large number of transactions were waiting to confirm because of the slow mining power. Maybe there was just all these transactions that hadn't been confirmed, and then finally when that block was found, there were 4.6 megabytes worth of transactions to confirm. However, a short time later, a 2.6 megabyte block was found, or mined rather. There you go, 2.59, call it 2.6 megabytes. So this is where things are really starting to heat up with Bitcoin Cash, because now they can start gathering real world data on what happens when you increase the Bitcoin block size to 8 megabytes, right? I'll tell you another knock-on effect that this has had, I noticed. I'm going to hop over to btc.com. This is a Bitcoin mining pool. It's also a wallet, and I use it, the homepage, for this fantastic data that they provide. So right now, if we look down in the bottom right-hand corner at their network statistics, at this minute, as I speak to you, there is less than 1,000 transactions waited to confirm. And the mempool, the list of unconfirmed transactions, is just under 2 megabytes, right? So that's 2 blocks, and it would clear it out, wouldn't it? So also the fees, this is the other knock-on effect. There are less than 1,000 transactions, and this is on the main Bitcoin network, mind you. Look at the fee estimate. It says the fee estimate right now is less than half a millibit per kilobyte. So just to put that into perspective, I think I paid like 2 pence yesterday. That's 2 pence sterling, which is about 3 US cents for a transaction fee. And that was on the main Bitcoin network. So that was unheard of most recently for me. Now, another knock-on effect I noticed by looking at the btc.com data is that the block times on the main Bitcoin network are also a bit random. So check this out. You see also we've got a time column here that tells you how long ago those blocks were mined, right? So the previous block, as I speak to you right now, was mined 1 minute ago. The next block before that was mined 2 minutes ago. That's a 1 minute gap in between blocks. Okay, and then the one previous to that, it says 19 minutes ago. So that's a 17-minute gap. And then there's a 5-minute gap, then there's a 13-minute gap. It's all over the place. So while the main Bitcoin network is meant to maintain a 10-minute block time, it's just all over the place. I can only think that that's mining power coming to and from the Bitcoin network. I actually can't explain that to myself. I can't explain that for myself, rather. So what that means is, if you're lucky right now, you might pay a 3-cent transaction fee and get a confirmation in 1 minute. That would be nice. I mean, that's not going to be a normal, I hope, because that doesn't obey the rules of the Bitcoin network. So we'll see how that goes on. All right. Earlier on, I said I'd promised to talk about Segwit2x. So let's wrap it up with that. So Segwit is due to activate around the 21st of August. That's activate, right? We need lock-in, then we need a grace period, then we need activation. And that's looking like 21st of August, right? Now, Segwit2x is an agreement, right? It's a schedule of activity that's going to happen that a whole bunch of miners have agreed to. And the Segwit2x agreement says that we're going to activate Segwit first, and then 3 months after Segwit activates, right, when it goes live on the network, then 3 months after that, there will be a hard fork to increase the block size to 2 megabytes, okay? And this is on the main Bitcoin network. And this proposal is still on the table, so we're assuming this is still going to happen. Now, I was talking to my patrons in the chat group yesterday about this, and we were questioning whether this 2 megabyte hard fork on the main network is going to happen at all. We assume it's going to, but my understanding of Segwit2x was that it was a compromise between people who wanted Segwit and people who wanted a bigger block size. So it was an agreement where there was some give and take on both sides of the argument. Now, despite that agreement being made, the Bitcoin Cash people obviously thought that wasn't good enough, and they've gone and split off anyway and made an 8 megabyte block size, which is fine. You can do that, right? But if Segwit2x was mainly designed to appease people who wanted bigger blocks, and if now those people have gone off on their own, where's the incentive for the Segwit supporters to go ahead with this 2 megabyte block size? Who are they doing it for? Not the big block people, because they can move over to Bitcoin Cash now, can't they? So does it mean that these miners are now going to, they're not going to go in for the 2 megabyte block size? Are they going to back out of that agreement? And after Segwit, they're just going to go, okay, that's it. We're not doing 2 megabytes, right? Now, I would personally say you have to continue with that because it was an agreement. And if you give your word, you should continue with it, right? And I would also say that I personally hope that Segwit2x goes ahead as planned, because I, for one, certainly do not want to get to November when this 2 megabyte hard fork is supposed to happen and there be yet another split where we end up with like Segwit Bitcoin and Segwit2x Bitcoin. But as ever, stay tuned to the Cryptoverse, and I'll be providing daily commentary as things unfold, as always. So thank you very much for joining me today, guys. If you like this episode, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you're new around here, get subscribed. And if you would like access to my very best stuff, such as my structured online courses on how to make and save money with Bitcoin, check out Cryptoversity.com. Alright guys, I will be back tomorrow with another edition of the Market Roundup and another edition of this news and commentary show. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.